Hi everybody and welcome to Heel Heat. My name is George Coles, and on this episode we're reviewing the Elimination Chamber from 2023. If you haven't seen my shows before, I grade everything on a 1 to 5 scale. 1 is the worst, 5 is the best. Let's jump right in. We start off with the Women's Elimination Chamber. The winner will go on to WrestleMania to wrestle Bianca Belair for the Raw Women's Championship. We have Liv Morgan versus Nikki Cross versus Raquel Rodriguez versus Natalya versus Carmella versus Asuka. This was a really great match. I enjoyed this so much. I feel like everybody in the match had their time to shine. Liv showed how tough she was. Carmella, lasting basically to the end, showed us a little bit. Nikki Cross got to show off her crazy side. Raquel Rodriguez got to show off her strength. Natalya, just a great ring general. This was a really fun match. Ultimately, Asuka picked up the win here. I'm giving this a 5. I thought they started off the show with a really great match. That's followed up with a match with Bobby Lashley going up against Brock Lesnar. I enjoyed this match and I understand the story, and I have a feeling, even though there was the MacGuffin with Bray Wyatt saying he wants to fight whoever comes out of this, I have a feeling that this is going to continue the story onto WrestleMania as a no-holds-barred type match. Just the way that everything played out. You don't often see Brock Lesnar get bested, and he kind of did. He kind of had to take a shortcut and kick Bobby Lashley into man parts, thus causing himself to get disqualified, thus giving Brock a reason for another match. The beatdown after the match, which I kind of thought the Hurt Business would reform here and come out and help Lashley. They didn't. He was wearing the old Hurt Business color, so they're definitely teasing it. I definitely think it's going to happen. Lesnar beats him down post-match. This is why I think it's going to set up some kind of Falls Count Anywhere, no disqualification, street fight type match at WrestleMania. For that, I'm going to give that match a 4. I thought it was entertaining. With the two guys involved, though, I kind of expected a little better. That match is followed up with our mixed tag team match. We have Edge and Beth Phoenix going up against Finn Balor and Rhea Ripley representing Judgment Day. This was another really fun match. My favorite spot in it was when Rhea powerbombs Edge while Beth is powerbombing Finn. And the more and more I see Rhea Ripley, and I know I'm not the first person to say this, she's a megastar. She's probably going to be one of the biggest women's wrestling stars they have for the next decade, as long as she doesn't decide to leave and go do action movies or get some horrific injury. Rhea just has that it factor. This was a really good match. I enjoyed this very much. Edge and Beth Phoenix pick up the win here. I'm going to give this one a 4 too. Next up, we have the Men's Elimination Chamber. This one actually has the U.S. title on the line. We get Austin Theory defending against Seth freaking Rollins, Johnny Gargano, Bronson Reed, Damian Priest, and Montez Ford. And again, much like the women, everybody had a chance to shine here. Ford really showed where he could go from being a tag team wrestler to be a solo star, which I think WWE is banking on him as a future solo star. Seth Rollins is one of the best of his generation. Gargano, just a great wrestler. Bronson Reed, the crowd wasn't really into him, but I think they will. I think it's going to grow where they get more and more into his character. If the rumors are right and Jay White comes in, I'd like to see a Jay White-Bronson Reed pairing, and kind of like the sense of a Diesel Shawn Michaels type pairing. I think that would be fun. Theory and Priest are both just really good too. Damian Priest had a lot of homages to Razor Ramon in this. He kind of did the Razor Walk, did the Razor's Edge. I dig that. We get down to the end, it's Theory versus Rollins, and they have to open the cage because Montez Ford got injured, which leaves the cage open for Logan Paul to come in, who hits a perfect buckshot lariat on Seth Rollins, thus setting up what I have to assume is going to be their match at WrestleMania, Seth Rollins and Logan Paul. Austin Theory picks up the win here, retains the U.S. Championship. I thought this was really fun. Again, I'm giving this one a 5. Then we go to the main event of the evening for the Undisputed Championship, the Universal and WWE Championship. Roman Reigns is defending against Sami Zayn. And I gotta say, they played this so perfectly. It's in Montreal. Sami Zayn gets a pop on the level of CM Punk at Money in the Bag, or CM Punk's comeback at the first dance, or Rob Van Dam at the one night stand against Cena. Sami Zayn's treated like the conquering hero here, and this was awesome. It had so many twists and turns. I knew or had a thought in my head of what was going to happen during this match. And even knowing that, they sucked me into where I had no clue who was going to win. I had no clue what the outcome was going to be. This was so perfect with Sami's family sitting ringside. The way that Roman Reigns trash talked both Sami and his family. There is no better wrestler in the world right now as far as in-ring trash talk and in-ring storytelling when it comes to the trash talking aspect than Roman Reigns. He really has a way to tie the story of what he's doing into what he's saying and why he's saying it. This match is just fantastic. We get a ref bump, which brings out Jimmy Uso, who's kind of quickly helping Roman, but Sami disposes of him. After that, they wrestle a little bit longer. There's another ref bump, and that ref bump brings out Jey Uso. And this is where, when WWE does it right, they do it really right. There's no company better in the history of wrestling at doing this type of storytelling than WWE. Jey Uso comes in and Roman tries to get him to attack Sami. He's conflicted. We see a similar setting as we did at the Royal Rumble with Sami Zayn being handed the chair to hit Kevin Owens, but in this case it's Jey to hit Sami. And this is where I was glued to the screen because what I expected to happen didn't. I expected for Jey to turn on Sami here, or at least hit Roman Reigns with the chair, but he was so conflicted that he didn't do either. And the way that Jey Uso was selling his emotion in that moment, it is a masterclass in ring psychology. This story, the Bloodline story, from the beginnings all the way to where we are now, has been one of the greatest storylines in the history of wrestling. Everybody that's been involved has been elevated because of this. Ultimately, Roman starts wearing Sami out with the chair. The ref comes to long enough to count to 3. The fans in the arena are deflated. It's audibly quiet in there. And we continue to see a little bit of a beatdown. When whose music hits? Kevin Owens. Sami Zayn's off again and on again best friend comes out to make the save for the beatdown. A huge pop for him, another Montreal kid, another guy that grew up in the area. They stop just short of them hugging it out and becoming best friends again. You feel there's still a little bit of tension because as you remember, it's not too long ago that Sami helped the Bloodline in the War Games match and basically kicked his best friend in the face and kicked them in the nether regions. So it was great how they're still selling that they're not quite on the same page, yet Kevin Owens felt the need to come and help what has been his best friend at times. This was absolutely fantastic. This whole story has been so great, and the way they've set this up, I feel like it's set up perfectly, so this isn't going to be a Daniel Bryan Batista thing at WrestleMania. I think that the Cody Rhodes storyline is going to be a different story from the Sami Zayn one, and we're going to see Cody winning the title at Mania, but we're still going to see Sami involved somehow. Maybe night 2 he gets Roman Reigns. I don't know how they're going to work that, but I'm excited to see where it's going. I've done it before, and my theory is if Dave Meltzer, who's the guy that most people look for 5-star ratings, if he can break a scale, so can I. I'm giving this one a 6. I thought it was above and beyond what I would consider a great match. I think this is an all-time storyline. It's not necessarily just a match. The story is what takes us from being a 5-star match or 5 match to a 6 for me, because this is one of the greatest stories that's ever been told. Overall, I thought this was a fantastic pay-per-view from beginning to the end. I like the fact that we're not getting 10-13 matches on the pay-per-views. We're getting 5 matches that are given time, and they get to tell their story, and they get to move storylines forward, help end storylines. WWE's been really hitting it out of the park these past few pay-per-views. I'd say probably going back all the way to SummerSlam, if not longer. They've had nothing but quality pay-per-views. Overall, I'm going to give this show a 5. I thought it was highly entertaining. I really enjoyed everything about this, and I'm really excited to see the rest of the road to WrestleMania and WrestleMania itself. With all that being said, let's smash that like button, share the video, subscribe if you haven't. If you made it all the way to the end, let's show some love for Sami in the comments. Give me a Sami Zayn, or if you want to, you can put the guy he took his style and emulated from, El Generico, in the comments. As you can see, I'm wearing a Generico shirt. You can put an El Generico shirt because that's who Sami Zayn took his inspiration from. And I know, I'm totally in kayfabe right now, so bear with me on that. Again, with all that being said, my name is George Coles, and this has been my review of the Elimination Chamber Premium Live event.